I love you too.
If it takes so long to hit me back, I can promise you how I react. Alright,
hey you guys, it's Jocelyn. Welcome back to my channel, Jocelyn Reads, and today I'm going to be filming my bookshelf tour. I have a bookshelf right here that you guys never see. I have one new bookshelf over there, and then I'm going to fill this whole wall that's right here that this bookshelf is on with these like little 3-tier bookshelves. So before I do my whole transformation, I want to first like commemorate all the bookshelves that I already have, like this setup that I already have, especially because I want to keep some of these aesthetics, so to have it on film it'll be easy to go back and look. And I think we're just gonna go ahead and get right into it because I don't have much else to say other than that. Okay, so this is my first shelf, and to start off I want to tell you guys that I'm not going to be pulling out every single book. This is not that type of bookshelf tour. I think that because most of us are avid readers who watch bookshelf tour, you know what a lot of these book covers look like, but I will pull out the ones that I feel like have a special story or like that I really want to showcase. So other than that, I'm just going to show you guys the shelf, what's on it, and how I organize it. So this top shelf is like my YA series. They were originally just trilogies, but some of them grew out of trilogies, and then I saw a bit of an aesthetic at the very end, so I added 2 books that were adult rather than YA. So the first series that I have is the Diviner series by LIBROFM. So the next series that I have was a Christmas gift from my friend Jessica at Theatrical Reader, and that was the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. And I showed the covers of those books in my last book haul. I'll link it up in the cards if you want to go see those more clearly. And then I also have the Shatter Me series at my very top. And we do not claim the books to find me and restore me in this house. That's also why I don't have the very last book in the trilogy, because I think the continuation of that series was kind of garbage, so I don't care about those books. And I have a really cool cover for Define Me, which I will show you now. So here's the really cool copy of Define Me that I was talking about. I got this dust jacket off of the Bookish box, and I really was in love with the Shatter Me series, and I thought that I really loved Define Me, and upon reread I found out that I actually don't really like this book, but nonetheless I really do love this cover. It is Juliet on the front, and then we have Warner and we have Adam on the back, and then we also have people on the inside. We have Kenji on this inside flap, and then we have Castle on this inside flap. I still think that this dust jacket is amazing, and that's part of the reason why I don't want to get rid of my 2 books from the continuation series, but I personally do not like the continuation series. So the next books that I have on the shelf is The Lost Hero, and then I also have the Percy Jackson series. The Percy Jackson series was one of these series that got me into reading, so that will always hold a special place in my heart. And then once I get my new bookshelf, this will probably extend or get its own shelf across here. But anyway, I then have Foundry Side, and I have The Lies of Locke Lamora, and I put these here because the blues and the oranges really match these 2 books, and I thought that was just like the perfect place for them to kind of end off the aesthetic on that shelf. So this next shelf started off as my V.E. Schwab shelf, and then once looking at it, I decided the aesthetic that I wanted it to have was a black, red, and white aesthetic, solely because that's mostly what V.E. Schwab's books encompass. So I don't do rainbow shelves, but what I do is I look at the colors that are on the shelf and I match the aesthetic to them, or like, it doesn't have to be colors, it can be just like an aesthetic that the books have, which you'll see in my next shelf. But yeah, I don't do across like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Instead, I just match like aesthetics. I guess I'll show you the things on it as well. So this is a mug that I got from Illumicrate, and this is a Vicious mug. So we have Eli, Sydney, and Victor on here. Sorry about the glare from the ring light, but that's what it looks like. I really love this mug, and I don't know what's inside of it. Oh, some acorns from when I used to do my Bookstagram pictures. So that's what's like clacking inside of there. So I have a few books that I want to take out on the shelf, and I also just want to zoom in to give you guys a better look on these shelves, as well as all of them. So I'm going to zoom in as I go more into it. This is my arc of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and though I didn't absolutely adore The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, this arc is just one of my favorite belongings. It's just a very satisfying arc to have. So next thing on the shelf is just the Monsters of Verity duology. I haven't read this yet, but I do plan to. Next I have Vicious. This little tear on Vicious is literally from my dad spraying this concoction that he made in my room to, like, it's like some type of cleaning concoction, and it got on my books. Before I had a bookshelf, they were just in my room, and so it got on this one and it literally disintegrated the book. So rip Vicious, which is really sad because this is one of my favorite duologies, Vicious and Vengeful. I love mutants, I love superheroes, and I love morally great characters, and that's exactly what this duology encompasses. Here's another special edition. This is A Darker Shade of Magic, and this is the Illumicrate edition. I got this when I was a rep for Illumicrate a while back. This is the front, this is the spine. Sorry if my camera's not exactly focusing. And then this is the back. It just says Illumicrate special edition. It also has these kind of silverish gray sprayed edges, and then it also has these really pretty end pages. This is the one on the front. I'm pretty sure the one on the back is exactly the same. It looks like this. And then it also has the little tassel as well. Then I also have Vengeful, and I have the special edition of collector's edition of A Darker Shade of Magic. And I got this edition off of the website that shall not be named, aka Book Outlet. And I don't shop on there anymore for obvious reasons, but I got this on there for like $5 like so long ago. It always had special editions of V.E. Schwab, and I think that's because V.E. Schwab just always has special editions. Ooh, there's some tabs in there. And then I also have this special edition, which I paid full price for. This is the Barnes & Noble special edition of A Gathering of Shadows, and I had to get this book because it's my favorite color, which is rose gold. It has a rose gold tassel. It looks like this underneath the dust jacket. It's super stunning. It's like this gold, and then it also has this art on the inside. I'm not sure if it's focusing that well, but hopefully it is. And then it also has this art on this side. I think V. Schwab has some of the best fan art. And there's the signature. It's like in the silver pen. Okay, I want to take you back to this edition of A Darker Shade of Magic really quickly to show you what's in it. So it has this across the cover, and then it's also gold. This happened when I was away at college. Don't know who did it. Nobody in my family knows, of course. And then I also have, it has this art on the inside of this one. It has this art on the end pages. So yeah, I really love these editions. I have this edition of Conjuring a Light. It's just normal. I don't know if it has any art or anything, but I don't feel like taking it out because I've taken out a lot on the shelf. And then I have a normal edition of Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. This is just the US edition. I got this off Amazon. And then I have these bad boys, and these are some of my favorite books that I own. This is the Barnes & Noble hardcover of From Blood and Ash. This is the Barnes & Noble hardcover of A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. And this is The Crown of Gilded Bones. And then this is just a normal edition of Playing Bad Heroines, which is a dark academia. And it's also Sapphic, which I haven't gotten to it yet, but I plan to soon. And then I have The Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh, just a normal edition. I don't know if you can see as well, but then I also have in this corner Crave by Tracy Wolff. So this is my next shelf right after my little red and black shelf, and I built this aesthetic around like golds and like foiling basically, because I have a gold foiling, and then I just have like this rose gold over here, and just pretty much like gold and foiled books. I don't have a lot of them, but if they weren't foiled, I matched the colors and kind of aesthetics to each other. So I don't have that many special editions or knickknacks on the shelf, but the first thing that I do have is this bookish candle. It's from the book Ember of the Night, and this character is named Harley. I haven't read the book yet, but I do like this candle. I just love bookish candles. I don't have that many. I actually only have this one, but I love the way they do sit on bookshelves and the way they look. So here I have Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I haven't read this one yet. And then I have my Margaret Rogerson books. I absolutely love Margaret Rogerson. I think she's amazing at writing YA fantasy standalones. I have Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. I love this cover, and I love this book. And then I also have another copy of this book right here. This is the Illumicrate edition. It looks really good underneath the dust jacket, but I don't know if I necessarily want to take the work in pulling this one out. Okay, because I love you guys, I took the time to actually pull this out. This is the Illumicrate edition of A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik. It has this cover. It wasn't my favorite color to begin with, but it definitely has grown on me since then, and I like the way the color looks with this little aesthetic that I built right here. And so yeah, this is it. This is what it looks like underneath the dust jacket. It also has this map, but I'm pretty sure the original book also has this map, and hopefully this is zoomed in. I really cannot tell if this is focused because the ring light is blinding me. It also has a special letter from Naomi Novik in here for Illumicrate readers only, so that's pretty cool. So next books that I have on this shelf are We Hunt the Flame, which is a book that I absolutely love, and I haven't read the second book or got the second book yet, but I plan to get it soon. I have The Storm Crow by Kaylin Josephine, which was not a favorite. I think I gave it 2 stars. It was just pretty forgettable, but a friend gifted this to me, so I would never get rid of it, and I do really like the cover. And then I have Serpent and Dove by Shelby Maharan, and this is another 2-star. I do not like this book at all. I think I did a rant review on it a while ago in one of my wrap-ups, but I can't lie, the cover is absolutely stunning. It's really pretty. The inside doesn't necessarily match, but the cover is truly that bitch. I then have A Song of Wraith and Ruins, and then I have the Broken Earth trilogy, which is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I talked about it in my best books of 2020. Now we're gonna go over here. I have Six of Crows by Lee Bardugo. I also got this box set off that website that will not be named. And then I have the special edition, which my brother actually gave me for my birthday last year, I think, or the year before, and it was really sweet. And yeah, I love the special edition. It's kind of hard to show on camera because of the way the camera focuses on the foiling, but it's like red foil. It has no dust jacket. It has these red sprayed edges, and then it also has like the map is red. And then I have Crooked Kingdom. I then have King of Scars. This is not any special edition. This is the, my hand looks weird like that. This is not any special edition. It's just the regular edition with the dust jacket off, because I do not like the dust jacket of King of Scars, so I just took it off. And then I have this special edition of A Court of Thorns and Roses, which my friend Julie gave me. Looks like this. And A Court of Thorns and Roses is one of my favorite series, and that's what the back looks like. Sorry if I'm struggling, y'all. Like, this is no joke with this ring light in front of me. And that's what the end pages look like. They're super pretty, and each of the pages kind of has some cute little doodles on the top, and I really like the special edition. So these last two books are hard to see because of my vine, so I'll push them to the side. First off, I have this little Celestial Observations I use it as a bookmark holder. It's from Illumicrate. It came in one of their boxes when I was a rep. Super nice. I have another bookmark holder, but it's kind of getting full, so I use this one as well. And then I have The Thousandth Floor by Catherine McGee, and I have this Illumicrate edition of The Court of Miracles, and I think that this Illumicrate edition is stunning. I haven't read the book yet, but look at those black sprayed edges with the rose gold. Like I told you, rose gold is my favorite color, so I just live for this edition. So the next shelf that I have is my Cassie Clare Holly Black shelf, which I find very fitting because they're best friends. So I think it's pretty funny that I have their books next to each other on my shelf. It's pretty sweet. So the first thing that I have is this little bookmark holder. I got this from like TJ Maxx or something a while ago, and it's super big and it can fit a whole bunch in here. I have pens in here, like these from Illumicrate a while back. And then I have my little bookmarks. One of my favorite ones that's always in the front is Twisty from American Horror Story. And I had some more like this, but I don't know where they went. So those are my bookmarks. I'm not necessarily going to go through them. I just wanted to show you Twisty because he is my favorite. So the first books that I have on this shelf are the black editions of the Folk of the Air series. I absolutely adore this series. I then have obviously How the King of Elfham Learned to Hate Stories, which is like a little short story that concluded the series. And then I have Kingdom of the Wicked. This is not my favorite book. I actually gave it like 2 stars, but I think it matches perfectly with the black editions of The Cruel Prince. So I decided to just go ahead and keep it here. I don't think I'll be buying the next book in this series because I really did not like this book. So then I have the white edition of The Queen of Nothing, and then I have the white edition of The Cruel Prince tucked down here. And then I have the Modern Fairy Tales in paperback, and I have The Darkest Part of the Forest, which I think is a highly underrated Holly Black book. This is pretty good. If you haven't read it, definitely would check it out. And then I have the Bane Chronicles by Cassandra Clare, and I have the Infernal Devices series, which I absolutely adore by her. If you're a character-driven reader, you'll probably like this series as well. And then I have the Dark Artificers, which I'm on Lord of Shadows right now, and not necessarily hating it, but it's not my favorite thing. And then I also have Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron, which is part of the Last Hour series. I'm pulling out Chain of Gold solely because it is my favorite Cassie Clare cover to date. Whoever did this cover snapped. So just take a moment to really reflect and appreciate this cover. Okay, so these next 2 shelves are so low to the ground that I have to come at them at an angle. I want to keep using my ring light. I'll probably take my camera off my ring light for the last shelf, but sorry if the angle's kind of awkward. I wish I could have come at it face on, but I can't. I moved my vine so you could get a bit of a better view. The first book that I have is a book of the month version of The Kiss Quotient. I then have The Flat Share, Daisy Jones and the Six, 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, Getaway Girl by Tessa Bailey, Lesson in Thorns by Sierra Simone. And then I have the Brown Sisters books. The only one that I need is Act Your Age, Eve Brown. And I have read it, I just don't own it physically. And then I have Beach Read, and I have all of my Christina Lauren books. I absolutely adore Christina Lauren. I don't love their work now, but at one moment they were in their era before they started doing their fade to black scenes. So I have The Unhoneymooners, my favorite Half Night Stand, Dating You, Hating You, Beautiful Bastard. That's not one of my favorites. Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating, Roomies, Love in Other Words. And then I have their, I forgot the name of this series, but it's like Dark Wild Night, Dirty Rowdy Things, Sweet Filthy Boy. And they actually go in the other order. And then I have You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hoggle. I absolutely love Sarah Hoggle. I have The Bride Test by Helen Huang, Fix Her Up, The Friend Zone, The Girl in 6E, and Do Not Disturb. Interestingly enough, that book is about a cam girl who has murderous like qualities and like sociopathic tendencies. So she locks herself in her house, and the only way she makes money is through cam girling. And then one day the delivery man comes into her house and a little romance starts there. It also is new adult romance, so yeah. And then I have The Hating Game, one of the best romance books ever. Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, one of my favorites by her. The Romance Book Club, Red, White, and Royal Blue. And then another Book of the Month version, and that is Well Met by Jen DeLuca. Okay, so sorry if this footage is a bit more wobbly. I can't use my tripod for this, so because it's so far down. But this is a shelf that I kind of hate. I do not like this shelf. This book is a story about a trans woman, a romance about a trans woman. So if you're looking for something like that, this one is really good, and I did like it. It's also an academic not rivalry, but it's like an academic romance as well, and I love academics. So sorry if the lighting is off. I'm trying my best with the ring light. But I had The Simple Wild and Say You Still Love Me by Kate Tucker. Then We Came to an End by Joshua Ferris. And then I have The Good Luck Charm by Helena Hunting. And then I have Smut by Karina Hawley. And then I have The Moment of Letting Go, The Light We Lost, Mr. Nice Guy Fumbled, Next Year in Havana. And then this Jamie Maguire book, I have The Right Swipe by Alicia Rye. I have Jar of Hearts. I don't even remember what that book is about, to be honest. And then I have Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, The Perfect Stranger by Megan Miranda, and then Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, Before We Met by Lucy Whitehouse, The Kind Worth Killing, which I want to read that book so bad. I just heard it's such a good thriller and has such an interesting concept. I think like there's this guy on the plane and he tells his like neighbor that he wants to kill his wife like as a joke, and then she goes, let's go ahead and do it, and then they carry it out. So that sounds amazing. And then I have, let me pull this one out. I have When No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole, which is one of my favorite thrillers. It's definitely Get Out vibes. Get Out with a mix of, I think it's called Antebellum, and that's also by Jordan Peele. And both of those are just When No One Is Watching. And if you like those types of feels, like kind of like racial, like social commentary thrillers, then I think you will like When No One Is Watching. And then I also have Emma in the Night by Wendy Walker, which is another kind of like psychological thriller. I really enjoyed this one. And then I have No Exit by Taylor Adams, not my favorite. And then I have Lock Every Door by Riley Sager, which I've also read and enjoyed a lot too. That's also kind of a social commentary thriller. It's also kind of like paranormal in a way. You just have to read it to really find out. I also think I need to move these hardbacks to fit this height because this is annoying me. But I literally just threw these books on the shelf. So not my most aesthetic shelf, but it's a shelf. That's what it is. Alright, so now I'm on to my Skinny Billy bookshelf, and what I do with these cubes is I just make aesthetics in each one that can be based on cover, vibe, color, just little things like that. This one's actually one of my least favorite cubes, but that's why it's at the top where no one can see it. First I have Gideon the Ninth displayed, then I have Legacy of Ash and Rune of Kings by Jen Lyons. This is more of my adult fantasy cube. And then I have Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Once I read that first book, I'll get the rest, and that book will go in a different cube so it can be with the rest of the series, because I do not like separating series. And then I have The Year of the Wishing by Alexis Henderson. I also have Gardens of the Moon, which is the first book, I think, in the Malazan series by Steven Erikson. And then I have The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Sorry, I'm trying to move these so you can really see. And then I have the paperback of The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, which I got that off of thrift books for super cheap. So the next cube is my red, black, and white cube. It's really nice because it fades into this red, black, and white moment here. And so we have it like this. I really enjoy it. So now you can see it all. I have Ninth House, which is one of my favorite books of all time. I have Battle Royale, which I haven't read yet, but it's like a war fantasy, kind of compared to Hunger Games, but way more deadly. And then I have Kings of the Wild, which isn't my favorite book. I read it a while back. And then I have The Last Wish, the first book that you're supposed to read in the Witcher series, which I haven't read yet but plan to. And then I have this special edition of Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I got this book on sale on Amazon a while back. This was after I had bought the paperback off of thrift books, but it was on a really good deal, so I went ahead and bought it. I then have the Nevernight series by Jay Kristoff. There's a lot of stuff going on with Jay Kristoff right now. If I can find a thread on Twitter, I'll go ahead and put it down below. Those are also the US editions, if you didn't know, and they kind of like make a design together. And then have one of my other favorite aesthetic shelves. This is more of my orange shelf. I used to have Priory of the Orange Tree displayed there before I got this dust jacket for A Court of Silver Flames. and it got bumped, but I don't know how I feel about A Quarter Silver Flames there. Like, I know I want this book displayed, but Priory looks so good pulling all the orange together. But the thing with Priory is the spine still looks good facing out, whereas the spine of this dust jacket is not as great as the front. So right now I have this here, but if you guys have any opinions on that, just let me know. On the shelf I have Middle Game by Shannon McGuire, one of my favorite adult fantasies. It's also more like a sci-fi, so it's like more SFF. And then I have the Foxhole Court, which you can't really see behind these pumpkins. Let me move them. Okay, I moved the pumpkins so you could see better, but I also have the Foxhole Court by Naomi Sokovic, which I absolutely loved that when I read that like maybe 2 years ago. It's a male kind of Etsy, which is more like lacrosse romance. I moved this so you can see as well. And then I have Pride of the Orange Tree, one of my favorite adult fantasies. It's also sapphic for those who don't know. And then I have Lobizona. This is an arc that I got from Wednesday Books. I think my friend Jessica sent it to me. I haven't read it yet. Then I have my German edition of Crescent City. If you know, you know. I got scammed on this one. It's supposed to have sprayed edges that match this design, but mine do not, and then they wouldn't give me a refund, so it's completely fine. I'll just keep it. It matches the aesthetic on the shelf pretty well, so I just took my L and kept the book, and that's where it went. I think it fits pretty well, so I'm not that mad about it, but I would have liked my money back if you're watching Amazon. On this shelf I had this Uprooted mug. I got this from Illumicrate as well. I haven't read Uprooted, but Naomi Novik wrote A Deadly Education, which is one of my favorite books, so it's nice to have. Sorry, it's hard to show this with one hand, but there's that. I'm gonna put it back, but there's another overview of this one. I think it's really nice. So here's an overview of my next shelf. This picture of me was drawn by my best friend Ari, and they are such a talented artist. And I also commissioned them for my art in front of my 3 thrillers video, if you watched that a while back. Yeah, they're just really good at art and they're very accurate. And if you're ever looking to commission someone for art, please look to them. I'll link them down below, and I'm gonna move it so you guys can see the books behind it. This is a Book of the Month cookie that I got when I worked with YA Book of the Month, I want to say years ago, and I just kept it because look at how good that matches with this shelf. Like, I don't know, I love it, so I just kept it. It's probably so stale by now, and definitely wouldn't recommend eating this. I definitely won't be eating it, and it'll just stay here forever. But now you can see the books, and this is my like yellow and pink shelf. I put a whole bunch of yellows and pinks together here, and books that match the aesthetic. I think The City We Became kind of pulls it together of all the colors I'm trying to get, so like yellow, pink, and blue as well. The 2 books on the end are my copies of Paper Girls. I love the art. Here I also have Teen Titans Raven. I freaking love Teen Titans and everything about it. I watched it when I was younger, and then I rewatched the whole series when I was older. I want to say maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, so I'm definitely in for another rewatch. And Raven and Beast Boy are one of my favorite ships in the entire world, so when I saw that this graphic novel about Raven was coming out, I knew I had to get it. I think the art is really stunning, but the story itself wasn't anything to write home about. But this is a really good art. Oh, he's fine. He's fine. I'm sorry. Definitely can't wait to get the Raven Beast Boy copy, and I might just get Beast Boys on its own. So the other graphic novel that I have is Laura Dean Keeps Breaking Up With Me. This is a sapphic graphic novel, and Laura Dean is a whole mess, just a whole bunch of toxic relationships and whatnot. I think this is really pretty because it's my favorite color, pink, and then the whole book just goes off of black and pinks, and it's just super stunning. I read it a while back and I did enjoy it. I probably should reread it soon. I think I had a crazy plot twist or something, but that's the art. I think it's really gorgeous, and I need more graphic novels. Those are all the ones that I have. So those are all the graphic novels I have. I think that graphic novels are so stunning, and they look really good on bookshelves. So the next book that I have on the shelf is Permanent Record. This was the YA Book of the Month version. I don't know what happened here, but it just got messed up. I wish I had the other version, the one that's see-through, but this is fine too. Next I have The House on the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and then I also have Twice Shy by Sarah Hoggle on this shelf. It's one of my favorite romance books. She's one of my favorite romance authors. I then have Leviathan Wakes and Caliban's War, which is so funny because they're two like super, I don't know if I would say serious, they're just space operas and they're adult, but they fit this little aesthetic, this really cutesy aesthetic that I have going here really well. I don't know what I'm going to do when I get the 3rd book because I think it's orange, so I don't know if it'll fit as well. And I think that would be the one exception that I make to separating a series, because these look so good right here. And then I have The City We Became, which perfectly fits the aesthetic that I'm going for here as well, with the blue, pink, and yellow. So haven't read this one yet, but I started a while ago and really liked it, and something happened where I couldn't finish it, but I plan to get to this month actually. And then I have the book of the month version of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue because I wanted a finished copy of it. But this is this shelf. This is one of my favorite shelves. I just absolutely love what I did here. Yeah, I did what I had to do here. So once again, I had to shift to my handheld tripod to get this shelf because I'm too far down to get it with my other tripod. So sorry if the footage is a little bit shaky, but here is my sci-fi shelf. I actually wish that this shelf could go up a little bit higher, so when I get my new shelves and reorganize a little bit, I think that I will make sure that this can be more in frame because you can't really see this shelf when I'm filming, and I wish that you could because I really enjoy it. So the first book that I have on the shelf is To Sleep in the Sea of Stars, and then I have Seven Devils by Elizabeth May and Lauren Lamb. I think I got that from Illumicrate. I then have Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruscio, which if you know, you know. I talked about this in my haul. It took me a lot to get this book. I think when I get my newer shelves, I also want to even face it out because this book in this series has some of the prettiest covers that I've ever seen. So I have this book as well. I then have the two books in the Skyward series, and I love how Empire of Silence looks next to those two books. It's kind of like a mix of the colors of those two, like it's a lighter color. And so these are some of the most stunning sci-fi covers that I've ever seen. My Red Rising series, my baby, is next to my Skyward series, and I'm still looking for Golden Sun and Morning Star in hardcover. So right now I just have the paperbacks next to that. And so then I also have a memory called Empire. Wasn't my favorite, definitely not memorable, and I might unhaul it because I don't think I'm going to continue the series. So yeah, that is my sci-fi shelf so far. I have more sci-fi books, but I don't know where I'm going to put them. I think when I get my second mini bookshelf or my skinny bookshelf, I'll put it where my TBR cart is right now. Finally, I have this little shelf. I don't have much to say about it. It's kind of like my other bottom shelf. I don't like it. There's no rhyme or reason to the books that I put here. It's just like basically what would fit. I have a little something going on at the end with the blue and the yellow, but it doesn't carry throughout the shelf, and I just think that this aesthetic is non-existent, therefore it's kind of ugly in my opinion. I could have done a bit more with this shelf, but once I get down to the bottom, it really is all about like fitting the books.
Promise you how I react, but all I can say is at least I'll wait for you. Lately I've been on a roller coaster, trying to get a hold of my emotions, but all that I know is that I need you close, and I'ma scream and shout for what I love.
Alright, so now I'm on to my other bookshelf. This is my Walmart bookshelf that I think I will be replacing, and I'll probably take this one. Once I replace it, I'll take this one to my apartment that I'm moving into next semester, or I will move it to the other side of the room and have it like as my TBR bookshelf. I don't know exactly what I'll do with it, but I know I want to replace it so that all of my bookshelves are the same size. So the top shelf is a bit of a contemporary shelf. This really is more of a contemporary bookshelf. I moved all of the books that I read like a while ago or that were contemporary literary fiction over to this shelf with a few exceptions, but I'll talk about those when I get there. So this is just kind of like, it was like a whitish pinkish shelf, and then it just kind of turned into this at the end. I don't know, I didn't have as many books to fit the aesthetic that I had in my mind as I wanted to, and I wanted to keep books by the same author together, so that kind of shifted the mood of the shelf. But I actually do still like the way that this shelf looks. It's very pleasing to the eye in my opinion. And I also have my Himalayan salt lamp there, which my mom broke the lamp part, so now it's just a Himalayan salt rock. So I have On the Come Up, Always and Forever Larry Jean, and To All the Boys I Loved Before. I never owned the second book, and so I just don't have it. I have Sadie, which is a really good YA thriller that I read a while back. I think it's just one that I will always recommend. It's so good. It's also really good to binge. It's an easy book to read. And I have The Museum of Heartbreak, which I can't remember if I ever read it. If I did, it was like in 2015, so the plot's gone from my head. I have Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian, which I never got to. I have The Song of Achilles, which was sent to me. I haven't read yet, but I do love Circe by Madeline Miller, so I plan to read The Song of Achilles really soon. I have Tweet Cute by Emma Lord, which I bought a while back when I was still into YA contemporary. I'm not as much into it now, but I think I will still read that book. And then I have all of Elizabeth Acevedo's books, Cop When You Land, The Poet X, and With the Fire on High. I love all of them. I love Elizabeth Acevedo as an author. Then I have The Bells, I have Emergency Contact, Wicked Fox, Lovely War, The Vanishing Half, Such a Fun Age, and then I have The Strange the Dreamer duology, and I do in fact have them out of order. It's just because I think that they fit better on the shelf that way. I typically would not have a series out of order on my shelf, but I did what I had to do for the aesthetic here. So here's my second shelf. If you've noticed, the Walmart bookshelves, I think they're wide. I don't know if they're wider or longer, but you're just able to zoom in on a shelf better with these. But overall, you can fit more books on the IKEA bookshelf, and the IKEA bookshelf is more stable and it's taller. So this shelf is like my red, white, and blue shelf. I'm not saying I'm repping America, because yeah, but that's what this shelf is giving. So I have Heartless by Marissa Meyer, and then I have the whole Cinder or the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer, and I keep all her books together. And then I also have The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh, which I heard is the hate to love book to read. Haven't read it yet, but still plan to, because I still will read that type of YA. I don't know what me and YA are just having a complicated relationship right now. We're trying to work through it. And then I have my other Marissa Meyer books. I have Renegades and Arch Enemies. I've read Renegades. I haven't read Arch Enemies yet, but I really did like Renegades, and that's just because I love superhero stories. And I still have to get the third book, which will then probably push the Truth Witch series or Binti off the shelf, because they won't fit anymore. And then I have Legendborn, which I have read the first couple chapters to, and I'm just stuck in the middle of that book. So yeah, fits the shelf perfectly though. And then I have my Children of Blood and Bone series. I'm not even sure how many books are going to be in that series, but I've read the first book and haven't read the second book yet. And yeah, so then I have Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. I have the Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. And then Truth and Wind Witch by Susan Denard. And then I also have Binti by Nnedi Okorafor, I'm pretty sure is how you pronounce their name. So this is my next shelf. I have the entire Throne of Glass series except for Kingdom of Ash. I'll buy Kingdom of Ash once I get to it. Right now I'm stuck on Queen of Shadows, I believe. Unless Airfire comes before Queen of Shadows, then I'm stuck there. But I'm pretty sure it's Queen of Shadows then Airfire. I don't know, I might have got them mixed up. But anyway, I'm stuck on the third book. And then I have my entirety of my ACOTAR series, ACOTAR, ACOMAF, ACOWAR, and then ACOFAST, which unpopular opinion, I actually like ACOFAST solely because it reads like fanfic. The next series I have is the Carval series. I won that series in a giveaway. I haven't read it yet, but I do still plan to. If you notice, series always have similar colors. Like if it's not this color, then it's going to be like the Poppy War series and the Ember of Ashes, which I'll show you later. Those go together. You can always find a series that match. So if you want to keep your series together, look closely at your series and see which colors of the series go together, and then put those together like I did here. So yeah, Carval Legendary Finale, and then I have the first two books in the Girls of Paper and Fire series by Natasha Nyong, and I've read the first book and haven't read the second book yet. Then I have Cry's War, and I have Four Dead Queens and Cinderella is Dead. And this was a pre-order incentive for Crescent City, so I have nowhere to put it right now, so it's just kind of there. This is my rainbow shelf. It's like one little shelf that I made a rainbow out of my contemporary and some, I think there's like one white thriller type thing, and then a sci-fi. I have Lakewood, which is a black thriller, which is supposed to be similar to like Get Out vibes, so I need to read that soon. I have Nocturna by Maya Montaigne, and then I have I'll Meet You There, Night Tragedy and Center, I Was Born for This by Alice Oseman. I love that book. I love Alice Oseman as a contemporary writer. I have Don't Date Rosa Santos. I have Opposite of Always. So these are a lot of my books by people of color. But then I also have Dear Haiti, Love Elaine, and I have The Hate You Give and What I Lost. What I Lost, I think, is a story about an eating disorder, so trigger warning there. And then I also have Black Enough, and then I have Wilder Girls. Did not like that book. Cover is stunning though. Then I have Always Never Yours, and then I have All Boys Aren't Blue, which I've read, also really enjoyed. It's like a memoir and / autobiography. And then I have Her Royal Highness by Rachel Hawkins. Haven't read that yet, but I do know it's sapphic. And then I have The Only Thing Worse Than You Is Me, or The Only Thing Worse Than Me Is You by Lily Anderson, and that's one of my favorite like academic rivalry stories. It's also YA contemporary. Then I have Wicked As You Wish by Ren Chapeko. I have The Space Between Worlds by Micah Johnson. Radio Silence by Alice Oseman, another one of my favorites. All We Left Behind, which is another one of my favorite contemporaries. I read it a while ago though. And then I also have Aurora Rising by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman, and I don't think I plan on rereading or continuing that series. And then this little book here is a pre-order incentive for Aurora Rising. It's called Memento, and it is one of the books in the Illuminae series. Like it's like a continuation of the Illuminae series, very short, and it's by Amy Kaufman and J. Kristoff. Obviously, I never finished the Illuminae series. I don't plan on finishing it, so I just kind of have this. Okay, so I'm back on my handheld tripod, and I'm at the bottom shelf here, and these are my OG favorite contemporaries, some of my best YA contemporary authors. This is a little letter from Jen Bennett. I won a giveaway from her, and she sent me all of her hardcovers of her books, which I already owned a lot of them, So I think I ended up either giving them to friends or selling them on Depop. But I think I still have a couple paperbacks that I still need to sell. But yeah, she wrote me a little letter and it was really sweet, so I put it there, especially because she was one of my favorite YA contemporary authors at the time. She still is. I just don't read YA contemporary anymore. Here I have my Morgan Matson books, Amy and Roger's Epic Detour, The Unexpected Everything, and Since You've Been Gone. I then have my Jen Bennett and my Emma Mills books. These are queens of contemporary. At Foolish Hearts, This Adventure Ends, First and Then I have Starry Eyes, Serious Moonlight, Alex Approximately, and The Anatomical Shape of a Heart. And then I have my Jessica Brody books. I love The Geography of Lost Things. It is a road trip romance and it's YA contemporary, obviously. And then I have The Castle Standing Still, which I have not read yet. And then I have my Bridget Kimmerer books. I love her YA contemporaries because they're hard-hitting. So I have Letters to the Lost. I have More Than We Can Tell. And then I have Call It What You Want. And then I have Under the Dome by Stephen King, which I got off Thrift Books. It didn't come with the title. Like, it's just like this. So yeah, I guess that's what I get for buying a Stephen King book, because that's what I got.
I can't promise you how I react, but all I can say is at least I'll wait.
Okay, so we are now on to my very last bookshelf. It's just a small 3-tier bookshelf, so we should be able to just fly right through this one. This is not my favorite shelf on this bookshelf. I have my City of Brass series, which I find really hard to create an aesthetic around. I guess I can show my special editions of The Assassin's Apprentice. Here's the first one. You can get these off Amazon. You can even get them at Barnes & Noble. I'm pretty sure they're available everywhere. And here's The Assassin's Apprentice. Mayana got me this for my birthday. Here's The Royal Assassin. Mayana also got me this one for my birthday, from Mayana Reads. There's The Royal Assassin. And then here is the last one. I bought this myself with a Barnes & Noble gift card that I got for Christmas, and that is The Assassin's Quest. They're really pretty books. They have like illustrations inside. They look like here's the front cover. Not sure if it's gonna focus that well on it, but there's the front cover, and then inside it has like really nice illustrations like this. Like here's another one, like super nice quality. I also have the Book of the Month version of The Secret History, because I think that all of the Secret History versions are ugly except for this one, and I wanted a pretty hardcover. So I have The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Haven't read it yet, but I love Dark Academia, so plan to read it soon. I then have The Starless Sea. Nothing special about this. This is just the US hardcover. And then I have If We Were Villains. So this is kind of my Dark Academia shelf. Once I get more Dark Academias, like I plan on getting, this one kind of sticks out. It's kind of annoying. But I plan on getting Catherine House. I plan on getting Bunny. And I also have some more Dark Academias down in my room that I need to put on here. So once I get more of my 3-tier bookshelves, like these are going to line this wall. And once they do that, I probably will give my Dark Academias their own shelf on a 3-tier. And then I also have Black Chalk. That's another Dark Academia. It actually doesn't have the best reviews, but I want to try it on my own. I have I'll Be Gone in the Dark. This is a true crime book about the Golden State Killer, I'm pretty sure. And then I have The Library of the Unwritten. That's not Dark Academia, but it just kind of fits this black vibe here. And then I have The Last Magicians, which is a Dark Academia, but it's more so like fantasy, similar to The Starless Sea, but I think The Last Magicians is even more fantasy, whereas The Starless Sea is kind of whimsical. Okay, so this is my next shelf, and this one is my kind of white shelf. Not really. This is what I mean when I say I look for series that have similar colors and put them together to kind of create an aesthetic. Here I have Peace and Turmoil, which I have no idea when that second book is going to come out, but here's the first one by Elliot Brooks. And then I have the Malice series, the ones that I do own right now. All of these I got off of Thrift Books. You can always find John Gwynn's books on there for pretty cheap. I then have the Ember and the Ashes series, which actually kind of matches Malice, as well as the Poppy War series, which is next to it. So that's how I ended up putting these together. And then I have City of Lies, which is just kind of a white book and I have nowhere else to put it. And then the last shelf for my whole entire bookshelf tour is this one. And it's kind of a bummer because I don't like this shelf either. Like, this needs a lot of work. I think my whole 3-tier bookshelf does. But anyway, here's my last shelf on my 3-tier bookshelf. I have, this is just kind of another adult fantasy shelf. I have Jade War and Jade City. I have Empire of Sand, Poison Study, which is more of a new adult fantasy, Sword of Kaigon. I have The Stolen Songbird, The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. Another thing with this shelf is a lot of these books have multiples that I don't own yet, so they're just kind of put together until I get the next books in the series. The Way of Kings, I only own the first book of that. I also have American Gods, and then I have The Rage of Dragons, Fires of Vengeance. I have The Black Prism by Brent Weeks. I only owned the first book of that. Bear and the Nightingale, I only own the first book of that. The 100,000 Kingdoms, The Broken Kingdoms, I only own the first two, and they're not a matching set. And then I have The Never Tilting World by Ren Chapeko, and then I have The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. And that is the entirety of this shelf. There's no special edition, so really nothing to pull out.
Trying to get a hold of my emotions, but all that I know is that I need you close, and I'ma scream and shout for what I love. Passionate, but I don't give no fucks. I admit that I'm a little messed up, but I can hurt it when I'm all dressed up. I'm obsessive and I love to hunt, good at overthinking with my heart. How you even think you got this far? This far. I can be needy, way too damn needy. I can be needy.
Alright guys, so those are all of my shelves. I feel very nostalgic sitting here and being able to document all of the shelves that I have, so that's really nice. And I'm super excited to go ahead and put in my other 3-tier bookshelves. I couldn't show you guys where I'm gonna put them because right now there's a spot right there that has a whole bunch of my family's personal information, so I can't show it, but I definitely will show you guys the process of me getting the new bookshelves, putting them together, and like organizing them and stuff. If you want to see that, comment down below if you want to see that. But either way, if you stayed till this far into the video, leave a bear emoji because I keep looking at it on my shirt, or a stack of book emojis to represent a bookshelf tour. Also, like, comment, subscribe, and all those things down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Safe in my rental, like an army truck back then.